Hello and welcome to another episode of the Blue Mountain Makes podcast. I'm Mary Lynn, coming to you as always from the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, where I live with my husband, my dog who's currently licking my feet, and a bunch of chickens. Today is Sunday, had to think about it, and the sun's out, and it's warm again, and my trees are starting to come out, and it's just a nice day. So, I have a couple finished objects to share with you guys and a couple works in progress, but not a whole lot going on my end of the things. I hope you guys are doing well. Hello to anybody that's new. At the last video, I don't understand YouTube rules. I don't question it. It just kind of took off on its own, and we've got a lot of new people and subscribers. So hello and thank you. Welcome. So let's just get into it. So, my first finished object I'm wearing, and I can already tell I'm gonna get hot. So I'm not wearing both of my finished objects because I think I would just die of heat exhaustion. So this is my Musselburgh hat, and I'm not gonna take it off because my hair looks like absolute poo-poo. But this is done in a fingering weight yarn. Every time it gets me. And somebody even last time was like, yeah, this is the name of the yarn company, duh. Hypnotic Yarn. Yes, it's Hypnotic Yarn. I was in the Yarnable monthly subscription for like 3 months last year, and this was one of the colorways. I really like this. It's Laugh Some More, so it's supposed to be like the colors of s'mores and campfire. So you've got like pinks and browns and some oranges in there. I really like it. I'm not sure it matches my shirt, but I'm gonna go with it anyways. But yeah, so this is the Musselburgh. It's knit top down. You make this giant tube, and then you basically just like stuff the tube inside of itself. And you know, this is the full length of the tube in half. So I folded it. I knit this on US 2s. The first time I knit like half of it, I used 4s, and it was like the gauge was really awful. The gauge was bad. I didn't like the fabric it was making, and when I took it off the needles to rip it back, it was like this big. So, good thing I ripped it back when I did. And then I finished this hat Friday. Stayed up late, finished it, whatever. Put it on my head. I measured to the specifications and the pattern of like how long the tube should be before you start decreasing, but I don't know if I just like maybe I read the wrong length for like the wrong size, but when I was finished I didn't have enough for a brim like at all, so it was probably this long minus the fold. And I know a lot of people wear them like that, and one of my comments about this hat is that I was a little worried that my dog's trying to get out. I hope you can't hear that. She's being really nosy. The neighbors actually had a visitor and she's like, no, you can't do that. Anyways, she doesn't need to go out. It's technically 4 layers over the ears, which is great, but it doesn't really get that cold here. So I was worried it was going to be too warm, and some people said that they deliberately knit there so that there is no fold, so it's just the 2, but I didn't like the way it looked on me that short, so I ripped out past the decreases and then knit like the rest of the hat on Saturday and finished it yesterday, which that was kind of a pain in the butt, but it was worth it. And I had extra yarn, so I think in the end I was left with like maybe a little thing like that big. It wasn't bad. Comfortably, you use like 100-gram skein of yarn, so if you have something laying around that you're just kind of not sure what to do with and you don't want to make socks, this is a really good option. It's fun. It's very mindless once you get past the increases, and really the increases and decreases are pretty mindless too. It just kind of flies. It's just knitting in the round. I watched a lot of movies and read a lot of books. I've been on the, I'm in a book club, and this month's book is A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I've already read. So now I'm rereading the whole series. Like, I have until April 21st to read the first book, and I'm already halfway through the third. It's only been a week. I mean, I've already read them all, so I'm kind of just breezing through again, but it's like my guilty pleasure read. Are they the best books in the world? No. But I do love them. Anyway, sidetracked. So, finished project number 1. Number 2 is my self-drafted sweater. So this is the front. Ta-da! I don't know if it's gonna lean back. This is my self-drafted sweater. I made it out of Rowan felted tweed, which is very pretty in this light. I did cables on my raglan increases. It's a seed stitch. Seed stitch all over. 2x2 ribs. I like the sweater. It's very lightweight. This yarn was very interesting. This is something like my sister is much younger than me and much more like fashion forward and trendy and things. I'm not. But she says I have a granola core aesthetic. Whatever. But I really like, like a kind of comfy casual, just got off the hiking trail kind of look. Do I hike that often? No, but I really wish I did. So, whatever. This kind of fits my thoughts with that look. I have a pair of hiking boots that I actually do hike in that match this very well, and it's a good layering piece because it's not very tight. I mean, I've got plenty of room in like the sleeves, and anyways. So that was the intention with this knit. This yarn. So it's an alpaca, wool, and viscose blend to get the tweedy bits in there, which are very pretty. They're like a blue, these little blue speckles. And I work a lot with alpaca blend yarns, like a lot. Almost everything I make is a wool and alpaca blend. But this one, for whatever reason, is very hairy. And it was hairy while I was knitting it. And the hair is like loose. Like I just pulled them off. It looks like hold on. Dee, come on. Of course, my husband's sleeping, so I'm like, please shut up. Anywho, it looks like I put this on, laid on the floor, and just rolled around in dog hair, which is kind of gross and not really the look I'm going for. But I kind of thought as I was knitting it, like I could tell that the fiber is like really compressed. So I figured it would bloom a bit when I wash it, and it did, and it's softened up quite a bit, but it is so itchy to wear because it has made these llama hairs, alpaca hairs, like stick straight up. So they're just poking into your skin. I mean, I've worn it a couple times, and I definitely think it's going to soften up with wear and wash. But yeah, when I first put it on, I was like, oh, I can't wear this. Unless I'm wearing a shirt underneath of it. But it's, like I said, I've gotten used to it or it's just gotten softer. But when I blocked it, I actually had like a chunk of hair, like, when you get out of the shower and you have to pull the hair out of the drain, little bits. It was a chunk of alpaca hair at the bottom of the blocking bucket, which was kind of gross. And I'm still, like I said, I can just sit and pull them off. It's very strange. And my other alpaca wool blend stuff is like all super soft, because of the alpaca. And it's just really strange that this made like the opposite effect. But when I say it bloomed, I mean it really bloomed. I have to roll my cuffs back because the sleeves lengthened that much. Because they hit me, like normal wrist length sleeves. And by the time I took it off, I mean, it comes like to here if I don't roll it back. So, just fine. Like I said, I wanted something kind of oversized so I can just throw on. And I do like it, and it looks good on me, I think. And I like the coloring, and it matches those shoes that I have that I kind of specifically made this for. That's sad, right? I made this sweater to match my shoes. They're brown. They match everything. But yeah, so it was very interesting kind of drafting it for myself. I had some not issues, but questions about how the sleeves were going to come out because I wanted the yoke to be nice and deep, but as I was knitting it, because of the seed stitch and because of the type of yarn it is, it looked like it was child-sized. It was so small. But like I said, it's blocked out. I mean, clearly an adult-sized sweater now. And the raglan, the yoke depth I was worried about because it was so bunched up. But like I would put it on and it would stretch down fine. And since it's been blocked, it's totally fine. But it was just funny because this, the chest and the raglan part would still be kind of bunched up. And then as I'm adding the sleeves are so wide because of the depth of that yoke. It looked really misproportioned, but it came out fine. So yes, there's that. First ever self-drafted sweater. It's not hard, especially because it's a raglan. It's not that hard. You knit enough of them, you kind of know what to do and where to stop. And you just kind of have to know too, like, you're probably going to have to rip back at some point. I definitely ripped this back a couple times, but it wasn't bad. So that is that. I would wear it, but I am warm. And that's all I got for finished objects. Deandra, lay down. Stop being a nuisance. Yeah. Yes, so not very many works in progress this week. I always say that. Let's start with the biggest one, which you have seen before. This is my twists and turns, false, wrong. This dog. This is my grandma's dog that she ended up having to go to a nursing home 2 months ago, I guess. So we inherited Daisy, who I don't like the name Daisy, so we call her Dee or Deandra when she makes me mad. She makes these like really weird groaning noises. So I don't know if you could hear that, but it was pretty funny. It was groaning and scratching at the same time. No, this is not the Twist and Turns. This is the Aurora Cabin Knit Along Shawl. And it is absolutely stunning. This is the first time I've put it. This thing is so big. I have it on a barber cord. And this is like the big try on your sweater size. And I can't spread it out all the way because it will fall off. It is absolutely huge. And of course I'm currently on the 5 color spot. So it's just, you don't want to see the inside of this bag I've got it in because it's a mess. But isn't it pretty? So I finished just the sections 1 and 2. 3, which is the first 5 color slip stitch. And then the garter ridges, and another 5 color slip stitch, and then don't remember what he calls it, but more slip stitches. And now I'm on my final 5 color section here at the bottom, which I'm not very far into it. And then I'll start the chevron border. And boy, oh boy, this is taking a long time. You know, there's something kind of almost like freeing in knowing that this is going to take a long time. Like this, I stayed up late to try to finish one night, and then I, ripped it back, and that was the only thing I did yesterday was make sure that I finished this, because there's almost this like pressure when you're almost done, but not quite. You're like, I'm just going to wrap it up. It's just the, last half of a sleeve, or just the last half of a sweater or a sock or whatever. I should just knock it out. But with this, I mean, one row can take forever, especially when you're in like the detailed parts where you have to like cable out this line. You have to do a cable on either side of this slip stitch, and it does take a little bit more time. I was using a cable needle, and then realized at the last line of the last section that like you really don't have to do that. And shocker, it's a lot faster if you don't use it. But still, I kind of leashed. I was playing video games, watching videos. I'd knit a little bit, set it down, knit a little bit. So it took, it takes a while. It's kind of nice knowing that there's no point in rushing, because it's just going to frustrate you, and it's not going to go any faster than it's going to go. I tried to rush the border of, which one was that? Oh, it was the one with the shrimps that everybody hates. Was it last year's MCAL? 2021? I think it was 2021 MCAL. It's totally out of my mind at this point, but I got to the bottom edging of that, and it's these, all the way along it, you're knitting like a band of each of the 5 different colors. And so I looked at that and was like, oh, it's a garter stitch. It'll go super fast. And I was so frustrated, because I was like, I'm going to finish this weekend. And it was going into Friday. That's all I was going to do. And by Sunday, I wanted to rip my hair out because it was like a third of the way through. And that was it. And I was so mad. And it's just like, why? Just relax. Enjoy it. It doesn't matter. This is going to be absolutely stunning when it's done. And trying to rush through it is not going to do anything but hurt my wrists and make me angry. So, yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like this weird freeing feeling of like, I can't rush this even if I wanted to. So I'm just not going to. Yeah. I'm super pleased with it. Most of this is drops alpaca. So the yellow, the white, I say most of it. Yeah, yellow, white, and beige are all drops alpaca. And then the blue is Kelburn Woolens Perennial, I believe. And the orange is Dirty Dye Works Superwash Merino. The orange and the blue were originally intended for the twists and turns, but I hated it, so now it's in this. Yay! And it is just, I love this color combo. Like, I can't get over it. I don't think it would have been something that I would have gone into a store and picked all of them out, but because I had everything in stash, it just works. And I love it. I'm so excited. I'm excited to wear it. I put it on after I put it on this barber cord, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be great. And it's going to be huge. I like a schlinket, though. I'm not about those. Everybody's doing those little, like, mini Sophie scarf things. It's great for other people. It's not good for me. I just want to live inside of my cocoon of alpaca and wool. So yeah, there's that. Super pleased. It's coming along. I imagine I'll probably, well, let's say I probably finish it by the end of April, but I'm going away for a week in April, so we'll see. Again, no rush. Enjoying it, loving it, proud of myself for doing it. Yeah. If anybody's wondering if this is a difficult pattern, like with the 5 slip stitch section, it's really not. See, look at that. Almost lost it on my barber cord. Even after I said, be careful. Ha ha. Yeah, my first attempt at this, I used colors that I really didn't like, turns out. And I had finished the first slip stitch section, and I just kind of like snipped it and left it where the Roomba vacuum grabbed an end of it and dragged it through the house. And my husband was the one that found it. He's like, I'm so sorry. You know, the vacuum got to your knitting. It's terrible, you know. It's like, it doesn't matter. You know, I just snipped the ends. I'm not going to use it. I'd use it as like a hot pad, basically, because I didn't want to rip it out. And he's like, are you sure that you don't want to rip it out? Because it looks super complicated and, you know, it's a lot of work. And it's like, actually, it's not that much work. One, the cable part that you have to do is super, super simple. It's not even like a proper cable, because I hate cabling. It's a pain in the butt. But yeah, it's not bad. The worst part is just trying to like keep your yarn from getting tangled, because there's just threads everywhere. Which since I only do it at my desk, I have this bag. It's a purse. It's a purse my mom got me ages ago, but it's got a built-in, like, it's supposed to be a wallet, but I use it as my notions holder for it, and it stands up on its own and stays open, so it's perfect for a project bag. So I put the working color. You only ever work with one color at a time in that section. So I put the working color in the bag on the floor, and then the 4 colors that I'm not using stay in front of me on my desk. So there's really no issue with when I'm pulling that yarn to keep working, it's not getting tangled in with the rest of them. So it's not bad at all. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Love it. Will I make it again? Maybe. It is a labor of love. I don't know if I'd do it for somebody I don't like very, very, very much. So. Alright, there's that. What else am I working on? Oh my god. Oh yeah. This is, I'm so happy. So this is like a thing that I love about the knitting community online. People are so nice and supportive and 99.9% of the time, like, not snarky about stuff. It's so nice and refreshing because the internet can be a very hateful place, but covered in here. My last podcast episode, I had just cast on this project, and I had no idea how to pronounce it, and I was just like, So it's by Caitlin Hunter, and somebody let me know that it is a German word, and it's Zweig. And I might have butchered that, but I think I got it right. They said pike, but with an S. Zweig. And it means branch. Yay! That's just so cool. I told my husband, I was like, I learned something today. So now I don't have to feel ignorant when I'm like, I don't know how to say this. It is Zweig. Branch. Which I'm assuming is for the lacework, texture. I guess that's how you'd say that. Do I necessarily see branches? Maybe not, but then again. So this I am making in Drops Flora for the dark color. This is Malabrigo Sock in the color Primavera. And yeah, I've split for the sleeves, or split for the body, whatever. And I'm just working straight. I have not touched this in quite a few days. I think I basically split for the sleeves and then just I think I knit like 4 or 5 rounds. And then I haven't touched it because I wanted to finish this in my sweater. But yeah, I'm really liking it. I'm really liking the way these colors came out together. I think it looks really, really nice. I made this size 4. I usually make a size 3 for Caitlin Hunter's patterns, and I'm probably going to end up doing waist shaping because for the most part her sweaters are just split for the sleeves straight down. You just knit it flat or straight, whatever. And I think it's going to be a little too baggy. My bust is a lot bigger than my waist. And sometimes that kind of just makes it look like I'm wearing like a potato sack if it's just straight. So I probably will do that. I haven't decided like where or when or how many stitches I'm going to decrease. I think I'm going to get a little bit further into the body to see what the size difference is. But I was really glad that I went with the size 4 because I didn't think about this before I cast it on unless my subconscious saved me for once. But it is a lace pattern. So, you know, you can see right through that bad boy. I'm going to have to wear something underneath of it. I usually wear like a tank top anyways, but I'm gonna have to do that. I'm not brave enough to just go with a bra. So yeah, that's that. It's working out really lovely. I'm using US 5s, which is what she calls for in the pattern. I did do a gauge swatch, and I washed and blocked it. What? Who knew? Now watch it not fit. I have used Flora before. I used it for Andrea Mallory's birch pullover, and I've worn that quite a bit. It does pill some, but it's not bad. And it is so soft. This is just, I mean, this is for sure next to Skin Soft, which, again, this is a wool alpaca blend. Worlds different from that other one. I mean, this has some, it has hair, but it's more like a halo effect hair, not so much a, I just played with my dog and now I'm covered in it hair. You know what I mean? So there's that. Guess I'm saying I would buy Flora over the felted tweed any day. But yeah, so that's that. I am omitting, she has like an X texture on the whole body that I didn't realize when I bought the pattern, because her sample is done very similar dark gray color to this, and you can't see the texture very well. Because it's so dark, so I decided to not do that. A, because you're not going to be able to see it, and B, because it involves cables, and I'm not doing that, and I don't want to have to pay attention, just gonna knit it straight. Maybe if I did another one in the future in a lighter color, I might do the X's, but I won't swear to it. So that's that. And my last work in progress, I don't know how to pronounce again, and honestly I don't know who the designer is. I'm going to look it up because I should know these things. It is I think it came from a Pom Pom magazine at some point, and I don't remember how I came across it, but it's so pretty. And it's called, I think it's Argil, probably. Argil. I don't think it would be Argyle because that's YLE. So I'm going to go with Argil, and it's by Claire Lakewood, and it was published in 2020. So Pom Pom of 2020. It was a long time ago. Yeah. So this pattern is worked on US size 3s. I am using Knitting for Olive's Cotton Merino. And these two colors. So this is oatmeal and this is ochre brown, or brown ochre. I can't remember which way, but definitely brown and ochre in that colorway. And this is all I've got so far. Not much to write home about at this point, other than, as always, Knitting for Olive. I love the Cotton Merino. I just think it has such good stitch definition. And I've got a Tenya from Caitlin Hunter that I made last year, that I made in the same yarn, and it's worn super well. That one did bleed some, and it has bled since the last 2 times I've washed it. It has bled some, so I will be interested to see if this brown bleeds onto the oatmeal. I'll put color catchers and stuff in there, but the whole pattern is worked flat. This is going to be a really interesting construction because this is the back. You're starting at the bottom. You work your way up. Then it's got 2 like V-shaped straps that you work separately. And that's about as far as my brain is comprehended because the front of it, so you've got horizontal stripes. When you get to the front like cups are done vertically, I think. And then the bottom is back to horizontal, plus there's ties. So it's going to be real interesting. And this is the first time I have gotten a pattern by this designer. And it's not quite as clear, or it's not that it's unclear. It's not as maybe user-friendly as I'm used to out of someone like Caitlin Hunter or Andrea Mowry, or even Stephen West, who says, you know, repeat this X number of times, aka you should have 9 stripes of the contrast color, which makes it so much easier because you're not like, oh my gosh, I have to like keep track of my increases or whatever, my rows. I just need to know I need, 9 stripes of oatmeal color, but there's no like little helpful hints in this one. So I actually have to do the hard work myself. What a bummer. Yeah, we'll see. This is going to be interesting. I have to increase like 40 or 50 stitches. It's quite a lot. And then you knit straight for a little bit. And then you do those top edges. So, and since the whole thing is worked flat, there is a lot of purling. So it is going to take a little bit more time. But I haven't done much with this. I haven't knit on it a whole lot. But since I'm done with the hat, this is now my mindless knit, even though I know I have to like increase every so often, and like you have to count your rows in between your increases and stuff. It's not like every other row increase, which would make life much easier, but I mean, it is making a very pleasant, gentle line, I guess you could say. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I think it'll be fine. I'm kind of thinking I want this finished in time to take it with me to my beach trip next month. We're going to Turks and Caicos. I'm so excited. Never been. And it's not a very far flight from the US. So did you know that they're a British colony or an ex-British colony, but their like actual currency is US dollar. Why? I don't know. Fun fact for you for the day. Well, guys, I think that's all I got. Did I leave anything out? Size 3, fingering weight yarn. I guess that's it. This is kind of a short one. Yeah. Maybe, just like if you care, I have been spinning a lot. So I bought a wheel last October at Rhinebeck. And if anybody's thinking about doing that, there's Dee. I don't know why she won't just lay down. If anybody's thinking about doing that and you don't live in New York State taxes are ridiculous. It would have been cheaper to like buy it in Virginia, but yeah, it's caught up in the world of fiber and I was very excited and I bought it and whatever. But like we have 5% tax here. Get off the door! Daisy! Down! She just had her whole body just stretched. Up the door. Go lay down, honey. Let me in turn. Anyway, so I was all, all wrapped up in it. And they said, oh boy, that's like $60 just in tax. Or maybe it was more than that. I don't remember, but I cried a little bit on the inside and just said, just give it to me, and walked away. But since then, I have been spinning. I didn't spin a whole lot when I first got it, which was interesting. It was also winter. It was winter, and I didn't really have anywhere to put it. I didn't have a good light for it. So my husband and I renovated we have like a finished basement and a big like den area that we just don't use, and it was just full of junk. So we got rid of a bunch of stuff and got some better, more functional furniture, and I got this like neck lamp. So it just shines straight down onto my knitting or spinning or sewing or whatever it is that I'm doing down there. And that made a huge difference. So I started really spinning after Christmas. And now my wheel is right behind this tripod because now that it is lighter for longer, I really like having the natural light when I get home from work, and then I can just spin a little bit. So I'll just do a quick once over of how bad this is and measurable progress. That's what we're going to say. Measurable progress. I think it is super funny to look at all of this yarn. I just keep, like, I've made this giant bag out of this really crappy pillowcase I had and some fun Halloween stuff. And it's great for, like, a sweater, but I don't have any, like, major sweater projects that I need to carry anywhere. So now I just keep stuffing all my handspun in there. I just keep pulling out. Oh, look, there's more. Police. So this was my first ever skein. I was so proud of this too. It's so bad. I bought the wool, the fiber. Oh my gosh, like look at that. Look, it's like, I bought the fiber at Rhinebeck and I got it. This is all like 100% merino and it was like a sample pack kind of. So it had 3-4 colors. Yeah. It went from white to cream to beige to this really pretty dark chocolate brown. And so I just spun that whole bag up and I think it was only 4 ounces maybe. Dang. The joys of living right on the like main road is you get to see all the drama as people drive by. So that's my first skein. It's really bad. It's way underspun. It's thick and then it's thin and it's like way underplied too. Which I like, look at that. That doesn't even look like yarn. That just looks like whatever. I'll keep it forever. My husband's like, are you going to make a hat or something out of it? I was like, no, absolutely not. But I will keep it. And, like, I still have the first scarf I ever made. I was 8. Maybe I was 9. 8 or 9 when I started knitting. My 5th grade teacher taught me. So I was that sad kid that stayed inside at recess with my 65-year-old teacher. We knitted. But I still have that one, and it's full of holes, and it's made out of, like, crunchy old Red Heart Super Saver gross yarn. Yeah, so still have it, still look back on it with fond memories. But yeah, that was my first skein, and then this is my second skein. This is yarn that I bought from a seller on Etsy. It was very reasonably priced. This is, I think, Corriedale and a blackface sheep mix. And I got a pound of it. It was only like $30. So that equals about four 100-gram skeins of yarn. So this one's still, you can tell, I've, way underspun in places. Really, really thick. And this yarn is very much different from the other. That's the other thing, too, that I find fascinating is how different all the fibers are, which I knew going in. But, like, when you wash this, when it gets wet, it feels like plastic. Kind of. It just feels really weird. Like, and it has like a very bumpy, like defined texture. I guess that's why I think plastic. It doesn't actually feel like plastic. Deandra, stop it. Hey, I know you can see me. Go somewhere else and do that. But anyways, that's number 2. Number 3, same fleece. Shouldn't say same fleece. Same top. Same bag of top. Getting better, you can definitely tell difference. Number 4 of the same, or 4th, whatever, my 4th skein. This one I was trying to go thinner, and I also applied it a little tighter. I mean, some places I applied it like way too tight. That looks like a rope. It's still not too bad though. Like when it's under tension, it's really not that bad. But anyways, so a little overplied, a little underplied. And then I had BFL Blueface Luster that I bought at Rhinebeck that I hadn't touched because I've got that and I've got a silk. I think it's a BFL silk, or maybe it's BFL bamboo blend. And I have not touched either of those because they are so, like, that silky one is really luxurious and I don't want to like waste it. And the other one it was the Rhinebeck colorway for that year from that dyer, and it's so pretty, and I just want to make sure that I can spin it into something that I can actually use, preferably, like, it's only going to come out to 100-gram skein, so preferably something I can use in, like, color work, and then I can have it and say, oh, it's for my first year at Rhinebeck, Anyway, but this is so pretty. So this is BFL. I was going for a fingering weight. It's definitely closer to a DK. It's so much better. It's just so funny. Like, You know when you start something new that it takes time and practice. But sometimes, like, when you're in it, it's really hard to kind of see the light, I guess, at the end of the tunnel, or the fact that you have made progress. But then, I think I pull these out occasionally and I'm like, okay, so yeah, I've made progress. I'm getting better. And it's a lot of fun. I was talking to one of the vendors after I was having instant, like, not really buyer's remorse, but, guilt about spending all this money on a wheel, not even knowing if I was going to like spinning, because I'd never tried it at all. We don't have any places around here that spin. We don't have like some people have like a spinning guild. We don't have any of that around here. The closest that I could come to is there's the Frontier Culture Museum in town, and they have like period houses set up, so it's like what life was like on an Irish farm in the 1600s, or a German farm, or an English farm, or they have like a really cool African setup. Like, you kind of just go through different countries and different periods, all within the same walking loop, and they have different period activities there. And I remember when I was younger, we would go for school, and there was a woman that would spin, and I always thought it was so cool. She'd just sit and spin away. I was like, wow. So it's the only place I could think of that I could just like kind of walk in and be like, hey, y'all have spinners here. I know you have spinners here. So that was funny, but I have yet to go back. They have free Fridays. Yeah, free Fridays in the summer. So maybe I'll sneak in and be like, hey, who do you spin with? Spin with me. Yeah, so that's all I got to say about that. I'm currently trying some more BFL. I want socks. Everybody says that this is a really hard-wearing yarn, so I'm trying really hard to get down to a fingering weight yarn, because I have a hard time. This white stuff, I don't like this. I do not like to spin with this. I prefer, the merino was fun. It's like almost sticky, like the fiber wants to stick to itself, so I didn't have as much trouble drafting because it wanted to be with the rest of the fiber. And the BFL, I don't know how to describe this, but like, it has such drape. Like, isn't that none? A lot. Very interesting. Sorry for my fiber madness at the end of this, but yeah, I'm gonna spin some more after I get off here. So that's it. That's all I got. I'm gonna stop talking now. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope that you're doing well on this beautiful sunny day. Hope it's beautiful and sunny where you are. If it's not, it will be soon, I'm sure. Have a fantastic day. Go do something fun. And until next time, take care of yourself, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.